Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this evening. The stock markets continue to rally on the back of sustained positive global cues. The Sensex, Nifty and mid-cap indices end in the green for the third day in a row, but come off their intraday highs. The rupee shakes off early weakness as dollar selling by banks offsets buying on behalf of oil importers.
And they used to say, sir, under recovery ho rahi hai, ye nahi ho raha, wo nahi ho raha, daam badh raha hai. So I say, but you're also good corporate citizens. Today I can tell you with confidence, they've demonstrated that they are good corporate citizens.
Oil Minister Hardeep Singh Puri confirms that the Ujjwala beneficiaries will get 400 rupees in total relief on every cylinder of cooking gas. Clarifies that the additional 200 rupee price cut will be borne entirely by oil marketing companies. Says these firms have the cushion to absorb the cost. The oil minister urges non-BJP states to reduce VAT on petrol and diesel to provide relief to Indian consumers. Reiterates that the centre and BJP-ruled states have done their part. Says he will advocate for a fuel price cut once non-BJP states comply. Adds any such reduction will be on political considerations. The Securities Appellate Tribunal offers no relief for Zee promoter Punit Goenka but pulls up the market regulator for a long-winding investigation. Next hearing on the 8th of September. SoftBank is likely to have sold a little over 1% in food aggregator Zomato for close to 947 crore rupees a share through a block deal that takes the total block deal involving Zomato to 2,300 crore rupees in just 3 days. Diageo India expects the premium segment to grow in double digits over the next decade. MD and CEO Hina Nagarajan tells CNBC-TV18 that premium-driven value-based growth will offset the impact of slower volume growth. India's rainfall deficit widens in August. Dry spells hit Gujarat, Karnataka and Kerala the worst. The Met Department pegs the pan-India deficit in August at 9%, but over 6 states, including Maharashtra and Telangana, see a deficit of over 55%. ISRO's Pragyan Rover detects sulphur in the lunar surface near the South Pole, indicating the existence of water and ice on the moon. The laser-induced breakdown spectroscope also detects other elements like oxygen, aluminum, calcium, iron, chromium, manganese, silicon and titanium. The Pragyan Rover also clicked an image of the Vikram lander this morning. Well, straight to the day's market action, where we saw the Sensex and the Nifty failing to hold on to their intraday gains. The Nifty finally closing flat, just about 5 points in positive territory. The Nifty banked down in the red by about 260 points. Mid-caps continue to hold strong, up by 280 points. And the Nifty IT index, which has been the one that's seen the strongest showing in the last few sessions, up almost 240 points. And that was the story as far as our markets were concerned. Prashant is standing by now to take us through the market action of the day. Prashant.
It started on a positive note because overnight we had the tailwind of the US market, but by close things fizzled out. I mean, the Nifty was actually absolutely flat. The Bank Nifty was even worse off. It ended about 0.6% in the red. Those are the frontline indices, but the broader market, the party continues. No interruption. So the mid-cap index, the small-cap index up on your screen, we've jokingly been calling it the 0.5% compounding small-cap index, and, well, it's not very far from the truth with the kind of gains we've seen there. I'll get to stocks in just a bit. The large-cap names, so, you had Tata Power, Maruti and Eicher, which were the three names which kind of held on their own. Otherwise, it was mostly sideways for larger names. Now we come to the broader markets, which is where a bulk of the action excitement has been, and the names will come up. Zomato up on your screen, lots of interest despite some of the sales coming to the market from earlier investors. Gokul Das almost 35%, near 40% at one point in 2 days flat post that acquisition. BSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange, that stock did well. Indian Hotels doing very well. Spark was up about 10%. These packaging companies, film companies, Uflex was one which stood out. Cosmo First is another one from that space which did very well. Shakti Pumps, the solar pump maker for the agri sector, that was up 20% on new orders that it got. Lemon Tree, Polyplex, Surya Roshni, Atul Auto. We had, of course, the noted investor Vijay Kedia was a prominent investor in Atul Auto with us over the last earlier in the week. Another 10% on Atul Auto. You had Prestige Estates, Sharda Motors, Aarti Drugs, so many names, and that's such a buzzing space really that one has to describe. Some losses, some pullbacks, minor, but in the broader market. BEML sold off a little bit. JSW Energy, HBL Power, which has been a stock outperformer. PG Electroplast, again, I mean, some pullback after a fantastic run-up. Spandana, JB Chemicals, Genus Power are some of the others. I made this point earlier. Since the Jackson Hole and the Powell speech, NASDAQ is up 4%. The Nifty is flat. So that's essentially the equation we are working with right now. The US market is rallying because markets are thinking that the Fed perhaps will be on hold because data was weak, but we get more data, which I think will reiterate or disprove what the market there is believing. You get the core PCE numbers today, and you got the jobs data on Friday. Back to you.
Prashant Penny, thanks for joining us. Staying with the market action, the GIFT Nifty Derivatives Index recorded a single-day turnover of close to $13 billion yesterday. The index also set a record of the highest single-day trading activity of over 3.36 lakh contracts. The big newsmaker this evening, Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri confirmed that the Ujjwala scheme beneficiaries will receive a 400 rupee benefit per cylinder, which includes the existing 200 rupees subsidy and the additional price cut of 200 rupees per cylinder that was announced yesterday. The minister hinted that though the existing subsidy would be borne by the government, oil marketing companies would have to bear expenses of the price cut. He said that OMCs have shown that they are good corporate citizens. He added that both OMCs and the government have collaborated to make this price cut possible. When I asked him if a fuel price cut was next on the cards, Puri said that it was time for non-BJP ruled states to cut value-added tax on petrol and diesel to provide relief to Indian consumers. He said that he will advocate further reduction in excise duties if there is a cut by non-BJP states, and then he will push for a cut in VAT in BJP-ruled states. And he wants the non-BJP-ruled states to take the lead on the issue. On the issue of oil imports from Russia, the minister said that imports from Russia have declined in July, likely to drop in August too. He said that this was not a deliberate decision, adding it's not the government but oil marketing companies who buy oil based on, in his words, transparent tenders. Take a look.
It's a 200 rupees straight cut for every LPG cylinder. And in addition to that, the beneficiaries of the Ujjwala scheme till yesterday were 9 crore 60 lakhs. All of them were getting a 200 rupees payment under DBT, which was going straight into their khata. For them, it's a 400 rupees benefit. That is 200 rupees gas cylinders reduction from 1100 to 900, plus their subsidy, it comes down to 700. OMCs in the first quarter of the financial year, madam, I'm talking about April, May, June, they all posted very healthy profits. And I just want to share a secret with you. When I used to sit down with my colleagues and friends, the CMDs, and they used to say, sir, under recovery ho rahi hai, ye nahi ho raha, wo nahi ho raha, daam badh raha hai. So I used to say, but you're also good corporate citizens. Today I can tell you with confidence, they've demonstrated that they are good corporate citizens. BJP, central government and states reduced their excise on two occasions, November 21 and May 2022. All the BJP states reduced their VAT. So I think it stands to reason that the non-BJP states should now bring down their VAT. They've been increasing it. Punjab increased it. Once the non-BJP states reduce their non-VAT, I will become an advocate for further reduction, provided the non-BJP states do their bidding job first. And then we will step in to see what more can be done if the results are good. There's no question of any deliberate decision by us to import more or less from a particular source. The government has nothing to do with this. The importation is being done by the private sector and the public sector companies, and they do it in a very transparent way. What they do is they float a tender and ask for prices for delivery at our port. And whoever has the lowest price, they import from that. Insofar as Russia is concerned, you're absolutely right. The month you named, there was a decline of 5.7% in this thing. But you know, this is a dynamic situation. I mean, when the military action took place from Russia to Ukraine, I'm talking about February of 2022, at that point of time, we were importing hardly any oil from Russia. I think it was 0.2%. In the first 2 months after that, there was a sudden increase in imports from Russia. Why? It's a price sensitivity issue. You have a situation where earlier 5 million barrels of oil that we consume, about 4 or 5 sources supplied 800,000 barrels a day or roughly thereabout. Then what happened is the imports from one particular source went up, came down. Today you have a situation where from two of our sources. Russia down 5.7%, may come down further if what you say is correct. Saudi Arabia, which is a major supplier, there's a reduction. But there is a reason for that reduction. The reason is that Saudi Arabia charges something called an Asian premium, which is for countries in Asia to look at the differential between prices to Europe. Now, so obviously, if the importer, whoever it is, it's private sector, Reliance or Indian Oil or whoever it is in the public sector, these are global companies. One of them is the world's seventh largest company. The others are very big international company. They will buy the cheapest.
Well, that is the Oil Minister, Hardeep Puri. You can watch that entire conversation with him at 7:30 p.m. right here on CNBC-TV18. But moving on to the other big corporate story that we are tracking, the Securities Appellate Tribunal, or SAT, has refused to provide interim relief to Zee's promoters Punit Goenka. This is in connection with the SEBI order that barred Goenka from holding a key managerial position in a listed company. However, the tribunal has noted that it was not satisfied with the time taken by the market regulator to investigate this matter. Yash is standing by now with the details. Yash, so where does this now leave things? SAT not providing any interim relief, but at the same time questioning how long SEBI has taken to investigate this matter.
Well, that's correct, Shireen. So today was, of course, day one, if I could call it, to the second edition of this legal battle between Punit Goenka and market regulator SEBI. And as far as Punit Goenka is concerned, fresh arguments coming in from them after SEBI had passed its confirmatory order against Punit Goenka. Punit Goenka's counsel saying that first, the entities which are in question and the transactions which are in question, all of them are legitimate transactions. Zee Entertainment has had business relations with these entities which are in question, the SL Group entities, for years now, and there is no substance in SEBI calling them just book entries or bogus transactions. The second point which Punit Goenka's counsel made before the Securities Appellate Tribunal was on SEBI saying that they will take about 8 months to complete investigation in this matter. Punit Goenka's counsel saying that that's too long for SEBI to complete the investigation and to keep Punit Goenka out of the office for that period. Of course, giving out the possibility that 8 months is investigation time, then there will be adjudication. So all in all, it's a too long time for Punit Goenka to be out of office in the merged entity out of Zee Entertainment and Sony. The Securities Appellate Tribunal did acknowledge this particular argument coming from Punit Goenka's counsel and said that, of course, SEBI cannot be taking so long and going on with the investigation for such a long period and keep Punit Goenka out of the office. The demand or the prayer by Punit Goenka's counsel was to get an interim stay on market regulators SEBI's order on barring Punit Goenka from becoming the managing director or having a key KMP position in this entity. Here, SAT refused to give any interim stay, but the matter has been kept for final order pronouncement on September 8th.
All right, September 8th is the next date in this matter. Yash, many thanks for joining us. Let's move on now to other news that we are tracking for you this evening. SoftBank is likely to have sold over 1.17% of its over 3% stake in food aggregator Zomato. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 the transaction amounts to 947 crores. Remember, CNBC-TV18 had earlier reported that SoftBank was looking to pare its stake in the company. Nisha standing by with more. Nisha, what are you hearing?
That's right. In a large block trade, SoftBank is the likely seller of 1.17% stake in Zomato as the lock-in from the Blinkit transaction 1 year back ends for this particular investor. Remember that last week we had alerted that the lock-in period for the Blinkit transaction shares in Zomato for 3 of the venture capitalists were to end on 25th of August, and it is now tradable. So in the last 3 trading sessions, we have seen blocks worth over 3% stake in Zomato being done. Tiger Global and SoftBank are the likely biggest sellers in this particular transaction, and shares worth about 2,400 crore rupees have been sold. As for SoftBank, they have made a good amount of profit of about 24 rupees per share because their implied value for this transaction 1 year back was at about 70 to 71 rupees per share, and they've sold it at around 94, 95 rupees per share. The stock has been gaining on the back of the supply coming in, that overhang being lifted, and also a slew of brokerages really giving a positive commentary on the outlook for the profitability of the company going forward.
Nisha, many thanks for joining us. Walmart-backed PhonePe has announced its entry into the stockbroking market. The company launched its app Share.Market under its subsidiary PhonePe Wealth Broking. The app will provide a large spectrum of investment services, including stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, and wealth baskets.
Super excited because we always said send, spend, manage, and grow. The 4 journeys of relationship a consumer has with money. The send, spend, and manage part of it we've already solved for on PhonePe. Consumer lending being one missing piece, but we'll get there soon. But when it came to actually growing your wealth, we felt that the experiences needed to actually have a winning product required us to have another app, and here we are with Share.Market. I'm extremely bullish that with Ujjwala and Sujit and team, we have the winning combination of entrepreneurial talent and IP that we can develop around and differentiate ourselves over the next few years.
Well, PhonePe foraying into the stockbroking segment. Yes Bank joins the digital rupee adoption. It has enabled UPI interoperability on its digital currency app. Customers will now be able to scan their UPI QR code and pay via digital rupee. HDFC Bank, Axis and Canara Bank have already enabled UPI interoperability. India is considering a 5-year anti-dumping duty against the import of toughened glass from China to protect local manufacturers, and this is likely to impact companies like LG and Samsung. The Director General for Trade Remedies has recommended the quantum of levy will be either the dumping margin or the margin of injury to the domestic industry, whichever is lesser. Diageo's Indian arm, United Spirits, expects the premium segment to grow in double digits over the next decade. In an exclusive conversation with CNBC-TV18, Hina Nagarajan, MD and CEO of Diageo India, said that the alcohol industry will see slower volume growth but more value growth due to premiumization. Take a look.
Premiumization is here to stay, and just like every other FMCG company is experiencing, our industry is seeing that, and actually we are delighted because we do want people to drink better, not more. So that's why you see the industry looking slower on volume growth, but value looks much better. I think we are estimating double-digit growth at the premium end for the next decade or so.
Well, that's Hina Nagarajan there of United Spirits. Apple's iPhone 15 series now has a launch date. The iPhone maker has announced it will launch its event called Wanderlust, which will take place on the 12th of September. The event, which will be live streamed online, will also mark the launch of the Apple Watch Series 9, so something to watch out for. Goldman Sachs has acquired several UK and US companies using a fund that's been set up with the Chinese Sovereign Wealth Fund. This as per a Financial Times report, which says that the deals include a cybersecurity business that provides services to the British government. Goldman Sachs set up the $2.5 billion fund with the China Investment Corporation in 2017 and has reportedly struck 7 deals since then. For more on all of our stories, visit our website, CNBC-TV18.com. We will head into a break, but up next, India's rainfall deficit widens in the month of August. Dry spells hit Gujarat, Karnataka and Kerala the worst. More when we return. Ready? SoftBank is likely to have sold a little over 1% in food aggregator Zomato for close to 947 crore rupees through a block deal. That takes the total block deal involving Zomato to 2,300 crores in just 3 days. India's rainfall deficit has widened in August, with Gujarat, Karnataka and Kerala facing the worst of the dry spells. The Met Department has pegged the pan-India deficit in August rainfall at 9%. However, 6 states, including Maharashtra and Telangana, have seen a deficit of over 55%. The department has also said that the deficit can be bridged if conditions turn favourable after the 10th of September.
Season as a whole, you can see the picture here. Most of our states are in normal. Himachal Pradesh is having excess, and shockingly, Karnataka and Kerala is in deficit. Minus 21%, and for Kerala it's much more. The seasonal deficit is minus 48%. Again, Bihar and Jharkhand are also deficit with minus 25 and minus 36%. And among the northeast states, Manipur and Tripura, from the pan-India picture you can see, is again deficit for the season as a whole. Pan-India is minus 9% and Maharashtra is minus 57%. Let's hope that after 10th of September, if there is some condition that is favorable, then we can, the statistics can improve.
Not looking good there as far as the monsoon is concerned. Now, Chess World Cup 2023 runner-up Pragyan was given a rousing reception upon his arrival at the airport today. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin also met and greeted the teenage chess grandmaster and his family. Pragyan was rewarded with a cheque of 30 lakh rupees and a memento for his breakthrough showing in the World Cup. But from one achievement to another, Chandrayaan-3's Pragyan Rover has detected the presence of sulphur on the moon's surface near the South Pole. Its presence could be an indication that there is water, ice on the lunar surface. The rover has also detected the presence of aluminum, oxygen, calcium and iron. The search for hydrogen is underway. The space agency also released the first images of the Vikram lander that were captured by the rover. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo has wrapped up her 3-day visit to China. In an exclusive conversation with CNBC, she said that U.S. companies are willing to do business in China but fear uncertainty. She also said that Chinese regulations are unpredictable and serve as an unlevel playing field for U.S. companies. Eunice Yoon with more.
The Secretary just wrapped up her last press conference before she heads home. She described her visit as productive, and this is after a whirlwind tour here in Shanghai, where she visited various examples of U.S.-China cooperation, Shanghai Disneyland, the NYU's local campus, as well as this Boeing facility. Now, in that exclusive, I asked her about the concern that she hears among U.S. businesses that China is just uninvestable. She said that U.S. companies want to do business here, but they just don't know what to expect.
All of those regulations just make it's an unlevel playing field for U.S. business. It's unpredictable. And so my message was there's a desire to do business, but we need predictability, due process, and a level playing field.
I also asked about cases like Micron, Intel, as well as Chinese export curbs as a possible Chinese policy to retaliate against U.S. companies for her department's export controls. This is what she said.
I think that retaliation, if it is retaliation, isn't good. Like, that isn't the way to build confidence or attract U.S. foreign direct investment.
Her main message was that action speaks louder than words. And in fact, she brought up with me that a Boeing deal would be a good action and a sign that China is serious about rebuilding confidence among American companies.
Soon, many thanks for joining us. That is the latest there from Secretary Raimondo's visit to China. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned. The news continues here on CNBC-TV18.